Howdy, friend. Sam Houston here, hoping you're living in high cotton. And if you're lucky enough to be in Texas, I know you're most of the way there. Now enjoy your daily dose of Texas history and Texas pride.
Howdy, friend. Welcome back to the Feed Bandit podcast and your Texas History Roundup for November 2nd. In 1835, Stephen F. Austin called a council of war and pushed for an attack on Bexar or San Antonio, but his officers rejected, maintaining it should be taken by siege rather than by storm. Ultimately, the Texians did storm the city, and General Martin Perfecto de Cos surrendered on December 9th. In 1863, a Union force under Major General Nathaniel P. Banks landed at Brazos, Santiago, near the mouth of the Rio Grande. Brownsville was taken, and his troops began to drive northward, but the offensive fizzled. Banks's attempt to invade Texas from the east 6 weeks earlier had met with disaster in the Battle of Sabine Pass. Both invasions were attempts to shut down the Confederacy's foreign trade. In 1865, Elizabeth A.C. Fitzpatrick was rescued about 13 months after being captured in the Elm Creek Indian raid on her ranch in Young County. Several others had been captured, and some died in captivity. At age 16, she had married Joseph Carter, a free black. Joseph and his father were mysteriously murdered, and Elizabeth, though illiterate and epileptic, operated both their trading houses and the family ranch. She married Thomas Fitzpatrick in 1862, but he was murdered a few months before the Elm Creek raid. After being rescued in Kansas by U.S. troops, she spent almost 2 years at the Kaw Mission before returning to Parker County. She married widower Isaiah Clifton in 1869 and lived in Fort Griffin until her death in 1882. In 1883, Jesse Daniel Ames was born in Palestine. In 1919, she founded and was the first president of the League of Women Voters in Texas. In 1930, while director of the Texas Council of the Commission on Interracial Cooperation, that's a mouthful, she established the Association of Southern Women for the Prevention of Lynching, a group of white women who fought racial violence and vigilante executions. Ames died in Austin in 1972. And in 1920, Texas voters passed the Better Schools Amendment, which removed limitations on local tax rates. The Constitution of 1876 had designated local taxes as one source of school funding, and in 1908, voters approved a limit on these taxes. Perhaps that should not have been, the limitation should not have been removed. I don't know. In 1954, by a 57% positive vote, Texas voters approved amendments to the 1876 Constitution that allowed women to serve on juries. And finally, in 1967, the poll tax was officially repealed when the results of an election held a year earlier were ratified. That vote had been in favor of repeal. In 1964, the poll tax was repealed for voting in national races, but in Texas, the tax was retained for voting on local, county, and state issues or public offices. And I would argue, if you're going to have it on one or the other, it should be on federal, simply because that's where all the power has been stolen and concentrated, which is a big theme of this podcast, taking back that power for the people of the state of Texas. So check out our Leave the Swamp series where you can learn more about that and why it should happen. But with that was your Texas History Roundup for November 2nd. Thank you so much for listening, and we'll catch you on the next one. You take care.
Well, there you have it. If you like our podcast, check us out at feedbandit.com. There you'll find awesome Texas First outdoors gear and apparel. Your purchase helps support the Bandits and keeps this podcast on the air, fighting for you and for Texas. Remember, preserve the tradition, protect the legacy. Until next time.